Hey there. Sorry for the lack of uploads lately, I've been really busy with some stuff. Like finishing OneShot. It's been on my mind a lot lately and it's made me rethink the way I approach games, so I kinda want to talk about it. Plus, I only get one shot at working on my first video, so I guess in that sense it's kind of fitting.
What else is there? Yeah, let's just get on with this, shall we?
Interestingly enough, OneShot doesn't just break the fourth wall like a few other games do, but it goes one step further and treats the player as a character in-universe. You're told early on that you, the player, are the god of the dying world that Nico has been called upon to save. You are the god. Nico directly talks to you, and whenever you move or use an item, that's something you suggest to them. The most important part of this is that the game's main goal is to get you to care about Nico. There are multiple opportunities where you'll have regular conversations with Nico in order to get to know them better. There's opportunities to mess around, like suggesting to do a robot voice or ride on a Roomba. They follow your suggestions the best they can. Most of the time. Because you're actually acknowledged as a character, there's no middleman here. Nico can have conversations with you directly, which makes it feel much more personal than if they had just talked to some other character instead. The other way that the game treats you as a character is the way it makes you do things to your own computer to progress. You need to open, move and delete files, keep an eye on your desktop background, move the window around, and at one point even use a second executable. You aren't just telling a character how to act, you're doing the actions yourself. The game also prompts Windows dialog boxes and refers to you by your computer's name right out of the gate, which also adds to that. I haven't seen a game utilize this level of fourth wall breaking before, so I enjoyed it, and it's what originally drew me to the game in the first place. Plus, it actually makes you feel like you're doing more than watching some characters do things that you can't affect. It makes you feel like you're directly affecting the world itself, in a way. What tied it all together for me was the fact that the player is told that their actions will affect Nico, and that there's only one shot. I felt that Nico's life was in my hands, and if I fucked up even once, then I'd really be hurting this character that I can personally have a conversation with, have fun shenanigans with, help with their struggles, and guide them through this chapter of their life, even though they're a character in an RPG Maker game. By having Nico directly interact with the player, the game is a much better shot at making the player feel something for them. Despite what I said about the moments where you start to feel for Nico, after the first area it kind of tapered off for me a little bit. I felt like the game wanted Nico to interact with other characters more than the player, which is fine. The only choice is choosing either to save just Nico or just the world, and you might as well show that the world is worth saving. There just wasn't enough interaction with Nico to make the choice difficult for me. I spent about 10 seconds before picking to save the world like the emotionless soul that I am. However, all of this effort to make me care for Nico led to something that I really didn't expect the game to do. It made me like an overly happy ending. In my teenagerhood, Nier and Drakengard were the most mind-blowing games to me because of the way they critiqued violence in video games. If you go out of your way to kill more things, you don't deserve the good ending because you just went and killed more things. This idea gave me a strong dislike for happy endings in video games, which was reinforced by other games like Final Fantasy VI. No matter what good you do, even if you defeat the big bad, the world is still irreparably fucked. The thing is though, it gave me a bias against endings that are even slightly happy. If anything happened that was a net positive towards a character or the world, then I disliked it because that wasn't how this one game I perceived as having the best story of all time did it. Only after playing OneShot did I notice that I had this bias. And then I realized that if every game was like Nier and Drakengard, it would suck. The first ending in OneShot makes you sacrifice either Nico or the world, and that's a pretty sad ending for some people, but that never felt complete to me. The Solstice ending, one of those overly happy endings that I hated so much, was the one that I thought was a much better conclusion. Importantly, this game doesn't have any violence. Maybe the way Drakengard and Nier programmed me to feel about video game violence was what made me think this way. And since OneShot didn't have any, I wasn't thinking critically about whether the ending made every character feel like shit and want to die for inflicting damage on rudimentary AI piloted by piles of polygons. Most importantly, the reason that I wanted to get the true ending was that I cared enough about what happened to Nico. It wasn't in the same way that I care for other characters in media. I still care a lot more for Emil more than Nico, for example. It was a different kind of caring. It was because the game chose to directly involve me in Nico's development, and made me feel responsible for what happened to them. Even though I didn't feel like Nico was a lifelong friend and I didn't cry my eyes out at the ending, I still cared enough about this fictional character to see their story through till the end. And that's why I like OneShot so much. Because it made me care about Nico a little, because I saw the struggle they were in and directly helped them through it, it made me feel like I'd actually deserved the good ending. It made me realize that not every game has to have an ending that's full of doom and gloom. Sometimes, if you work really hard, an ending that's good overall is within reach. And it made me realize that even if a game you watched someone play in 2013 is really, really good, you shouldn't compare every other game you play to that. So yeah, that's my one shot at my first video. Ah, fuck, I said the joke again, didn't I?
Hold on, let me just get my outro ideas list. Beg for subscribers? I mean, I don't really want to do that. Ask my dog for advice as a joke? I mean, I'm kind of saving that for another video. Give up and throw this piece of paper away. Huh. Well, best idea I've got.